Chad referenced it. Crawford plays this week against Rosebud-Lott. To me, this is one of the most interesting matchups of the week. Chad will be there down at Bill Baines Stadium in Travis, Texas, between Rosebud and Lott. Probably haven't talked enough about either of these teams, I think, on this pod. So, who do you like in this game? And can either one of them or maybe both make a run in the playoffs?
I'll let you have a crack at it first, Michael.
This one is one of those that it's kind of easy to just call a game like a coin flip because we've had so many of those that are like that this year, but this one does really feel like that to me. I mean, it's kind of like, do you want to lean Rosebud-Lott because of its potent offense, or do you want to lean Crawford because they're going to dominate time of possession and take the ball out of Rosebud-Lott's hands and just kind of lean on that? That's probably where I'm going to lean. I think I'm rolling with the Pirates this week, but it's not because like I'm just overwhelmingly confident in that pick. I think Ty Robinson's going to have those guys ready to go. And again, like when the possessions are limited in a game, it can really come down to the margins, and you really do have to execute. And I just think Crawford does a really good job of that. And now then again, I haven't seen Rosebud-Lott since like week 3 or 4 when they played Bosqueville, and maybe they look like a completely different team. I think Rosebud-Lott will have the better athletes. Zaylen Wells, Price as their quarterback. I mean, they've got, I think, better individual players that can just go make a play. But man, I really think Crawford is going to be able to kind of play that, 9-minute drive style game and just kind of squeak it out in that way.
Yeah, I think the same thing about it. I have picked Rosebud-Lot because I very rarely ever pick against a home team when I'm going to cover a game there. It's just a policy that served me well through the years, and a coin flip type of a game.
Chicken.
Um, but I think, and I got to see Crawford play Moody on that weird weather week 2 weeks ago,
Mhm.
and Moody was in that game. The thing Moody wasn't able to do that would have made it real interesting in the second half was maximize their possessions. They had a possession early in the first half, or they could have made it 12-6 or 12-7 or 12-8, and they threw an interception deep in Crawford territory. If they convert that and get some momentum going, particularly on their home field, it's going to be a really interesting ball game in on that night. Now, Rosebud-Lott, I feel like, has the experience, has the playmakers to maximize those possessions, right? So I think that might be a factor big time in Rosebud-Lott's favor. I agree with what you say about Coach Robinson having those guys ready to play, and he's done a great job of bringing his sort of what the culture he likes to a team and adapting it and molding it with the players he's had to help Crawford have a successful season this year. Now, we always talk about in coin toss games turnovers being important, and that's almost a cliche, right? But when you have a game that's so dependent on possessions and limited possessions, which that's what Crawford wants to do. They want to limit possessions in the ball game, right? Well, if Rosebud-Lott can force a turnover and kind of flip that a little bit, then it's gonna swing it heavily in Rosebud-Lott's favor. On the other hand, if Crawford gets a turnover and gets to hold on to the ball that much more, then there you go.
It's good analysis. I don't know how that I have a ton to add to that. Here's what I'll say. I picked Crawford, uh, and part of my thinking there is history. And even though those guys went through a tough year last year, they still ended up getting in the playoffs. Uh, there's such tradition out there in Crawford that I think you learn how to win. Um, they do it in all sports out there. Um, you know, They do it with that. It's kind of been the same style of ball, really, for 30 years. Uh, Nowadays, instead of 3 yards in a cloud of dust, it's 3 yards in a cloud of pellets. Black pellets. but uh, but
I
here's
know
what
they
I'll.
still have they still have grass at Pirate Field though.
No,
So
there you go. They're
and
old. They're old
They
school.
do. They
I'm
do.
not sure about Rosebud-Lott. They may have field turf at
Uh,
Rosebud-Lott.
Yeah, I don't
I was
know.
there.
I don't
I
know.
was there last year. I can't remember. I think it's
Bill Bay
grass.
Stadium.
But
I
what
think it's
what I was gonna
grass.
say is this: I do feel like if Rosebud-Lott can maybe hit him with some big plays with Price, Ray, Broker, and that offense, and I think it could be a really interesting game. And I do think that if Rosebud-Lott was able to win, that certainly gives the Cougars a lot of confidence going into the playoffs. I think that could be like a momentum boost as they go in because then they go, wow, we beat Crawford. We
Mhm.
can beat some other teams. Like
Well, and off that, it would give because they just it would kind of be like back-to-back playoff wins at the end of the year because Marlin, if you look at Marlin took Crawford to overtime, just a week ago or 2 weeks ago, whatever. And that was a huge win for the Cougars too. And especially when you look at like kind of what you were saying, Marlin has a pretty good history too. So, to your point, Bryce, I think this is a real opportunity for the Cougars and that certainly could be some legit momentum going into the playoffs. So
I got an answer. It's field turf
there you go.
is
at
it?
Rosebud-Lott.
Dang, I really thought it was grass. Whatever.
It's green. Maybe that guy had you thrown.
So there's my 3 yards in a cloud of pellets.
Nice.
Uh,